Alrighty, sim racing fans, we do appreciate your patience. We've been dealing with some technical difficulties behind the scenes, but it appears we are finally live here on the E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel with live coverage for this next round of Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing, continuing live coverage of the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. We're back for the first time in 2 weeks exactly, where we previously were at Talladega Superspeedway to wrap up the round of 10, where we send 2 more drivers packing their bags and home and out of championship contention. Now we have 8 drivers remaining for 2 races to fight for just 4 spots at the championship finale at Phoenix Raceway in 2 weeks. So 3 weeks, 2 races for the round of 8, and then the championship finale to wrap up this 6th season of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. Welcome to tonight's live production of E-Motorsports Network Action on iRacing. Tonight it is the round of 8 opener and round number 19 on the overall season. It's the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. We're here for the first time on the Roval layout since 2021. We've been on the oval every single year, but for the Roval, we're making some history. It's been a couple of years since we've been here, and of course, for the guy that's alongside me to bring you the action, the call here tonight. He experienced this place. This will be my first time. It's Regan McCauley you're hearing right now alongside Jordy Gare. He's been here since the very beginning, of course, was the guy that previously experienced this a couple of years back. It's my first time, Jordy. It's been a little while since we've had the Roval layout compared to just the oval. How are you looking forward to getting this new round started, a wildcard round especially, for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs?
I'm looking at it as a hell of an opportunity for this track to come back into play, honestly. After a little while, it would have been maybe nicer for some of the drivers if it had come in to play a little bit earlier, but hey, there's something about Charlotte that just kind of works for a lot of drivers on the strictly oval side of things. When you get into the infield, that's when you kind of get thrown off. So maybe there'll be a sense of familiarity there. But the one thing we do know for our remaining 8, there can't be an off switch for those guys. They got to be in full gear because this is a 3-race sprint from here on.
100%, 8 drivers remaining. They had to deal with enough stress and pressure back at the full throttle pack racing that was a Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, that back then it was just 2 drivers going home and a bunch of other drivers. There were some of those, close gaps and everything. But compared to now, where it's just the best of the 8 best drivers remaining at this point in the playoffs, with only 4 spots available for Phoenix Raceway in 2 weeks, is certainly all going to come down to the wire starting here tonight at the Charlotte Roval course. Cars are currently on the track for group qualifying. Jordan Calais, oh boy. He's still at the top of the board, at least.
Yeah, very much so, but the gap a lot closer than we've been accustomed to on road courses, so maybe that counts for something.
100%, so he's currently at the top of the board. He's won all but 1 road/street course race on the season thus far. That would have been Bryce Fontaine back in Montreal, but of course, Kalinin is always the #1 favorite when it comes to the left and right-hand turning circuits here within the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. Of course, the sophomore driver out of Salisbury, North Carolina. 9 wins on the year, looking to become the first driver to get to double digits after tonight and lock himself with a win to the next round. Although, when it comes to the his gap compared to everybody else starting off this round of 8,
he's fine, folks. We'll put it that way.
And speaking of fine, we'll quickly put it up here. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, really not much more to be said for the 0-0, the way he's just continuously built that up, particularly from the second half of the regular season. It's just been a masterclass from him since that point. And yeah, final road course of the year could be a solid opportunity, very solid opportunity for him to lock himself into the championship 4, whether it's via a win or just walking in on points.
And you see that driver right in behind him. We've grown accustomed to a lot of the Jordan Kalinian winner graphic in a lot of our pre-race shows, but no, this time around, first time winner in his 18th career start, first season on the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series. Graham, North Carolina's Blake Thronberg picking up the win at Talladega Super Speedway in a wild finish. Late race restart, 3-lap shootout. He started from the back of the top 10, went to the front on the final lap. He was second coming at a turn 4 behind Bryce Fontaine. Then he passed him in the tri oval, drag race to the line, picked up the win, and automatically locked himself into the round of 8, and he's been on a hot playoff streak, of course. No finish worse than 10th since the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs first began. Very quick through the race results as we continue. Just a very quick Valvoline Instant Oil Change pre-race show. We should get back to qualifying within the final moments, but of course, Thronberg getting the APR Racing 250 victory. Bryce Fontaine, Scott Bailey, Tom Janikowski in the top 5, along with Justin Belmonte. Good finishes for Dan Cudmore, network founder, and then rookie Matthew McDonald, the back of the top 10. Corbin McCauley, Repuling's fastest lap. His engine let go, forcing him to retire from the race before the checker flag after he won the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue pole. But he had enough of a cushion to still make it into the playoffs, or make it into the next round at least, and then very, very much heartbreak for the one of CD Magram. A technical issue before the race forced him to not take the green flag. Ultimately eliminated by 3 points, which, as you can see, this is the graphic where it is after the round of 10. Not going to the round of 8, but this is what it was right after Talladega Super Speedway. So, unfortunate for Magram, along with the 41 of Jose Mercado, the veteran and driver who's been here since the very beginning, also not having a shot anymore at the Earl Ross Cup.
Indeed so. And, well, I was going to say, good thing we weren't going to a hot lap straight away. We're going full on, not quite Tokyo drift, but you get the point. And you could be seeing a lot of that because, at least in practice anyway, those track temperatures were obscenely high. And they're very much still at that level. So don't be surprised to see a lot of slipping, drifting as these guys try to find some grip over the course of 2.25 miles. And I don't know, are we going to go hot lap?
We're doing it right now. You want to do it right now? We just went through the first corner there.
May as well, yeah, as we're getting into the infield section. And this is going to be very slow as we're on board with Blake Thronberg. He'll get down to first gear, eventually getting out here. And important thing to note about this Roval configuration as he makes his particular turn. You see Thronberg going super wide. Totally cool to be outside the double white line here on this particular layout here tonight, with the exception of the part of the track we're coming up on, which is turn 4, or eventually it'll be turns 3 and 4, but that's the one spot where it's not okay, along with the high banking in remaining oval sections as well. But as we're coming up into the first of 2 chicanes that briefly intersect through the infield, Thronberg doing a good job to hold on to it there. Yes. I would say, gonna guess that white line's probably the threshold for where the double white line rule comes into play, and just wanting to make it nice and smooth coming through this final chicane here. And that is a very, very makeshift and rushed hot lap of the Charlotte Roval. Certainly has had some updates since, I believe, the last time we did it in the console era. I think there 100%. Might have been some track alterations.
Indeed, yeah, you just saw Thronberg go through that first corner. A lot of people, a lot of drivers refer to that as a calamity corner, certainly, especially for the race start and for restarts, which we're going to see, of course, with the stages throughout this race. Of course, we'll get into the race analysis later on. As how about car number 17, Corbin McCauley, trying to bounce back from his unfortunate result at Talladega 2 weeks ago. He's on top, maybe trying to dethrone what usually it's Jordan Kalinian that's gotten the poles on the road and street courses, but now it's a number 17 reigning series champion on top. Knock on wood.
So usually when these things happen, the suggestion would be that, you know, it's life imitating art, whereas, you know, say virtual success might transition to real life. Could we be having an opposite effect here from the confidence perspective, which I'm sure we'll get into from the real life perspective over the course of the race, because it's been a very eventful few days for driver 17 in the real world behind the wheel.
100%. A certain driver in that 17 car, Oysterbed Speedway, heat and feature victories back on Labor Day Monday, which, yeah, that was the way I put it to our group behind the scenes was, are you going to be thanking the E-Motorsports Network people to God that we had an off week that one Monday?
I mean, couldn't have timed it any better, frankly.
100%. So yeah, again, congratulations to the 17 Corbin McCauley, picking up first career stock car race victories at the real life Oysterbed Speedway here in Prince Edward Island.
Yeah,
finishing third in the mini stock points too as well.
I was too busy picking up P1s in the real world behind the wheel. Now it looks like he's on track for one here. I don't think we have anyone finishing up hot laps at the moment, do we?
No, I think we're good as Hanneman's coming to a halt.
Well, that's rather handy.
I just subtly heard a woohoo.
Okay, that'll work.
And you know what? You know the thing in OBS Studio where there's that little eyeball thing. It's already open for the driver, so ironic.
Okay, yeah, it's almost like you were willing it into existence in a way. But to be serious about it, there's something to be said about finding performance when it matters. Because, I mean, we kind of saw the same thing happen toward the end of Season 5, where it felt like Jordan Kalinian had a lot of momentum. But, I mean, Corbin McCauley was right there, obviously, last season. Maybe this is the start of him kind of making that definitive jump to really make it a true championship race here. From his side, anyway, over the next 3 weeks.
100%. We'll get through the rest of what was supposed to be during our full Valvoline new oil change pre-race show. Of course, technical issues did haul us back there just past the green flag for qualifying here for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. Very quickly, team standings. Tornado Alley, 104 to 168 point lead over GTR Motorsports. A 64 point jump compared to last race there before Talladega. No position changes the rest of the way. Where else do we got? Manufacturer standings. Toyota increased their lead by just 1 point, but it's plus 527 over Chevrolet. Chevrolet's up by 95 points now over Ford for second place. Rookie of the Year standings, of course, Blake Thronberg with his win at Talladega extended his points lead from plus 55 to plus 62. And the Rookie of the Year standings over Raymond Hanneman. Again, Raymond Hanneman, after his first start at Homestead, Miami, compared to everyone else starting at the GTR 250 at Daytona, he was catching his way up closer to the playoffs, and now it's kind of starting to go back the other way where Thronberg's starting to get back away from the 85 car. And along with the Earl Ross Cup playoffs as well, we have the best of the rest standings for those who did not make the playoffs. So those drivers in that category eligible for this whole best of the rest deal that Justin Belmonte got last year. Jared Ireland leading the way. Again, extended his lead by 9 points from plus 30 to plus 39 over Adam Wilson still. Mario Galani still hanging on in third, but I can only imagine that is not going to happen after tonight because he is not with us in this 17-car field that's going to be battling for the win tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. And I think other than that, we should be good. Actually, no, there is one more thing. We might as well shout out the guy that's now gone 4 for 5 in Driver of the Month honors.
Something to be said for consistency.
100%.
Of course, in 3 weeks' time, he's hoping that all this still means something and that he's going home with the championship still. And, it's not amounting to a 0-0 for lack of a better term.
Indeed. And of course, schedule as well, too. We're kind of in that right side middle area now where you kind of see the blue there. In behind playoffs around of 8, of course, the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval race here tonight for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. Las Vegas Motor Speedway to wrap up the round of 8 and to be the last race to decide who the 4 drivers will be to fight for the championship at Phoenix Raceway on September 22nd. But of course, we got to get to tonight before next Monday night, 3 Mondays in a row to ultimately decide our champion. And this run starts tonight at the Charlotte Roval, our first race here since 2021. First time here within the iRacing era too, so that should certainly make things just a little bit more interesting as well. And since these guys are lined up here on the pit road, might as well only give them one pace lap. We'll introduce the starting lineup right now. I think that would only make sense, Jordy. Of course, again, 17 cars ready to do battle. Usually the car count has been a little bit more up earlier in the season, but again, this season's winding down. Usually on average every year it starts to kind of get a little bit more down, but still though, a very strong field with some, of course, your playoff drivers, other heavy hitters, underdogs. Anything could happen, and certainly drivers have been having some interesting conversations about this whole setup and some other things related with this car and this track, especially too considering this track is going to be updated tomorrow. So go figure before that whole update, the rescan that the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval will deal with. We're getting it done over with before that tonight.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in the Season 3 update, but they just weren't quite ready for that. Still needed to make some final tweaks.
100%. So let's see here. Hopefully I have the music queued up for our starting lineup. It should be going. It should be. Fingers crossed. Here is your starting lineup here for tonight's Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. 1:30 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Of course, starting on the front row. We've seen this plenty of times. Your reigning series champion, the 17, Corbin McCauley, starts on the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue pole. Alongside him, of course, 9-time winner this season. You saw that gap there on the playoff grid going into this round. The 0-0 of Jordan Kalinian looking to pick up another road/street course victory and at least win himself into the next round, because why not? He's been doing basically every round up to this point. Your reigning Rookie of the Year and championship runner-up. And then row number 2 has a pair of rookies, or top 2 in the Rookie of the Year standings, except you flip them. Recent winner at Talladega, Blake Thronberg's actually in 4th there, and then ahead of him in 3rd place is the 85 of Raymond Hammond, the 85 Ford. Next row, rounding at the top 5, we have the 22 of Bryce Fontaine for Eternal Racing, 2nd place finisher at the last race at Talladega, and the winner at Montreal earlier this year. 41 of Jose Mercado. He is eliminated from the Earl Ross Cup playoffs, but he's at least going to try and end his season on a high note, maybe pick up a victory or 2. We'll wait and see for the driver of the 41 Ford at Kissimmee, Florida. The number 1 Nordic Aluminum Toyota CD Magram starts in third. Alongside him is the 60 of Justin Belmonte out of Pachago, New York, and the number 60 Ford. Ups and all of them. Ty Higginbottom, the number 97, former series champion for Tornado Alley Racing, starts ninth. And then the driver who won both of the Charlotte Roval races, the two that we have had in history back in 2020 and 2021, the 48 of Scott Bailey out of Allendale, Michigan, will start at the back of the top 10.
All right, and yeah, 17-car field means I don't have to talk as much. So row 6, we find the number 7 Ford of Andy Hurdle out of Dayton, Ohio, starting 11. On his outside is the number 13 Chevy of Jared Ireland out of Aurora, Kansas. On row 7, where we find the number 15 Storm Surge Sports Toyota Kyle Knoll out of Wendell, North Carolina, starting 13th. On his outside, starting 14th, is the number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. On to row 8 now, where we have the last of our championship contenders in the field here tonight. Mason Tomlinson in his number 4 Toyota starts 15th. On his outside is the number 93 Chevy of Tom Janikowski out of Appleton, Wisconsin, starting 16th. And rounding out the field, the number 25 Ford of Matt McDonald joins us from Calgary, Alberta.
Indeed, he does. So it's 17 of Sim Racing's best, ready to do battle here tonight to start off the round of 8 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs, and round number 19 for season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. So there was your starting line. Music's going to go off, and now I'm going to head into the iRacing voice chat, have a little quick word with these guys, and get the engines fired up with the most famous words in motorsports. Let's go.
Pace lap.
All right, gentlemen, do we have a copy?
I don't know if you can hear me or Regan, but we can't hear you.
Okay, let's try and figure this out. Technical difficulties have been crazy tonight. Joey, of course, we've been having to rush through some things, but do you have anything maybe to kind of fill up the dead air?
I was going to say, I'm not used to having to fill this particular space, but I will do what I can. All right. Am I still on dead air watch, Regan?
I think we might be good now. Let's try this one more time. Fingers crossed.
Gosh.
Try now. Do we have a copy?
10-4, we got you now, buddy.
Finally, sounds good. We've been dealing with a lot of technical difficulties again. I guess that's just part of the whole deal of having an off week and trying to get things back on track. But of course, 3 races remaining now in the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs for Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. The first race of the round of 8. The past couple rounds, of course, it was eliminating 2 drivers and advancing your 10s, your 8s, and blah, blah, blah. But now, 2 races, 4 spots at the championship finale. Only 4 of you can move on. It all starts tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Thanks to Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue for hopping on as the title sponsor for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Roval. So, to all of you 8 drivers still remaining with a shot at the Earl Ross Cup, best of luck to each and every one of you starting here tonight. First time on the Roval layout since 2021. This should be interesting, especially for the first iRacing edition of this one. Again, good luck, have fun, and start your engines. Always a pleasure to hear the engines get fired up with the most famous words in motorsports. Cars now rolling onto the racetrack as we set to go. Green flag racing to start the round of 8 of the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Again, 17 of sim racing's most elite set to clash in this one.
Yeah, and nothing wrong with having a little bit more space on this particular configuration here tonight, but obviously, as you mentioned, the setup for this track, it sounds like it's presented more than its fair share of challenges for our drivers this evening, so we'll see if it becomes a bit of a war of attrition here as well, especially with so much on the line here. Won the championship for if a playoff driver wins, of course.
Finally, we got the fuel window now so we can finish up and get the race analysis going here, of course, for tonight's event. Race length, 55 laps. Stages are 12, 12, and 31. Pit road speed is 40 miles per hour. Fuel window is somewhere around 16 to 18 laps. Of course, we don't have a 2024 race winner because when we previously raced, as we were mentioning earlier, 2020 and 2021 both hosting the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval for playoff races, with Scott Bailey going to victory lane in both of them. And he'll try to go 3 for 3, but now on the iRacing side of things, and he's starting back in 10, so he has some ways to make up. But again, 55 laps, 3 stages to make his way up to the front.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt that he won the Charlotte Oval configuration earlier in the year. So some good vibes there for the 48, and especially knowing what's at stake, I wouldn't be surprised to see him climb through the field semi-quick.
He was the winner of the Zesty Paws 300 back on June 16th. That was his second win of the year after Atlanta. Mostly cloudy skies, 54% humidity, air temperature 27 degrees Celsius, 81 Fahrenheit, and then the track temperature is 39 C and 103 F. Wind direction is southwest at 13 kilometers per hour, 8 miles per hour. Again, the number fluctuates all the damn time.
Yeah, and the track temperature number down considerably from what the drivers would have experienced in practice and qualifying. So that might help with a little bit more comfort, as it looks like McCauley's gotten a pretty good jump here through this final chicane.
Let's go racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Green flag in the air for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. The round of 8 is underway.
That's a dream start for the 17. Just absolutely nailed the timing of it. The fact that he was able to make that acceleration through that final chicane, and just, I don't know if they were necessarily caught off guard per se, but it was opportunistic as we got someone spinning in the back.
That's CD Magram.
And this will be a couple of weeks to forget for the number 1, to say the very least. We talked about the fact that, it really wasn't it was a matter beyond his control that led to his elimination. Behind the scenes, he told us it was like 1/16 of an inch that something was off on his wheel that prevented him from racing 2 weeks ago. And that's what has him out of this year's Earl Ross Cup chase. But if we look at our top 4, they are very much in the picture.
And right off the hop, everybody's single file throughout the field.
And I'm not necessarily surprised by that. Like I said, a little more kind of room to operate here. Bigger track at 2.25 miles, give or take. And road courses, they tend to have a way of separating drivers pretty quickly as well. And this really hasn't been any different.
No, it is not. Oh, boy.
Whoa.
Wobbly. And new race leader.
Yeah, we'll see if McCauley can do something on the accidental switchback, though. Looks like he has a decent line on the inside, and he goes through.
Thought there was going to be an additional crossover, the 00, but just like that, Corbin McCauley regains the race lead in the McCauley Racing 17 Chevrolet.
Yeah,
Raymond Hanneman and Blake Thronberg starting to catch up quick after all that.
Yeah, so we're not necessarily accustomed to seeing this on road courses. The fact that we've got some fairly close racing, and the fact that it's competitive within our group of playoff drivers anyway, 1 through 4, very much looking for that spot in Phoenix here in a couple of weeks' time. And no one's wasting any time in terms of trying to make their mark here.
Indeed, again, considering it's a road/street course, there's no such thing as automatic incident-related caution. So if there is an incident, it is not going to count. The race is going to stay green. The only cautions we're going to have are those automatic stage cautions.
Yeah, and the fact that we've been given that 16 to 18 lap fuel window, you're only looking at 1 green flag pit stop at this point if you can help it.
So Corbin McCauley continues to lead the way on lap 3 of 55. And of course, lap 3 of 12 for this first stage. Again, first 2 stages, 12 laps each, and then rounding it out again. Do consider the caution laps whenever that second stage yellow does come out. It'll probably be somewhere around 28 to 29 laps at least of green flag racing to the checker flag here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Of course, I'd say everybody knows the Charlotte Motor Speedway, of course, within the NASCAR realm. Of course, the oval having run since 1960. The infield road course did exist from 1971 till the mid-2010s, but not as a NASCAR-sanctioned track. It was eventually modified and born into a track on the NASCAR calendar in 2018 for a playoff race, nonetheless, with a memorable finish to boot between Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. in the final chicane as the cars are just going through right there to get to lap 4. Ryan Blaney picking up the win, and with that little bit of desperation there to Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champion, ultimately being eliminated from the playoffs because of that spin deal there with Truex. And there's a whole thing kind of there with some back-of-the-pack cars. Again, just a couple of points being the difference with the playoffs at that time in the round of 16. Of course, this layout, too, has been revised multiple times. And like we were talking about earlier, we're using the regular Roval layout that iRacing has here before the update that's coming tomorrow.
Yeah, as we see, well, that's Matt McDonald having something in the background. I noticed Gronberg getting a little bit loose out of one of those turns, but he was able to maintain 4th. Let's see what happened to McDonald here. Yeah, just a little too much going through 1.
And the slightest of taps to that wall.
Yeah, should be able to keep going relatively unscathed.
So this layout at 2.28 miles and 3.66 kilometers. Now the thing is, the iRacing track map says it's 16 corners, but that's where the Charlotte Oval portions of this racetrack are considered just 1 corner. But online, there's 17 turns, so there's a couple differences all over the place, but it's around those numbers.
Well, however many there are, these guys know they got to be precise in as many of them as possible here tonight, because, again, there's actually something significant on the line here rather than just pure advancement. You know that if you're able to hang on to the end, you're locking yourself potentially into a fight for the championship, and that's what everyone's been working for over the course of the last few months.
And especially for the long winless streak that the 17 is on since his championship-winning race at Homestead Miami Speedway last season. This guy dies for a win. I mean, he had been, fighting for that for a while, especially too in real life at Oyster Bay Speedway. He marked that off his bucket list, but now trying to break that cold streak here on the sim racing side of things, especially in his current playoff situation. Again, Jordan Kalinian with that plus 64 gap. And then Thronberg at a +2. You got 3 drivers tied at 4,011 points each. And then you got your -2, -3, and -5 at a Hanneman, Tomlinson, Higginbottom. And especially that company that McCauley's within in that tiebreaker with Justin Belmonte and Scott Bailey. And of course, Bailey being a former champion as well back in Season 4 and being the past Charlotte Roval winner. There's a lot of elite company all around there.
The Charlotte Roval winner. That's the distinction we can make. But again, entirely different era. You've said now on a couple of occasions. And yeah, maybe different platform, bringing different fortunes here as, I mean, Bailey's worked his way up a little bit, running an 8th at the moment, but he's got a 6.5-second gap between himself and his next closest competitor, fellow playoff driver Justin Belmonte. So, you know, kind of running a bit of a lonely race right now is the 48 in, because even Andy Hurdle, the spot behind him, is roughly 2 seconds back. So not a whole lot of pressure from the 48, but not applying any right now either.
It's just about 2 to 3 tenths or so separating the 1700. You mentioned earlier about how rare it's been on the road and street courses this season. Cars competing so close together, and especially your top two, nonetheless.
I mean, maybe not these top two specifically, but yes, in the road course environment, 100% bang on with that assessment. And frankly, nice to see, as Kalinian, I watched some of his onboards during practice and qualifying. The way that these guys are fighting the wheel in some of the sections of this track is just unbelievable.
I mean, this is what this Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval is all about, especially with the oval and the infield course put together. The long sweeping corners, the elevation changes, heavy braking areas, especially into the back and front straightaway chicanes. It makes it completely challenging, but also makes it exciting for us to witness and cover here.
Yeah, speaking of cover, Macaulay's going to cover that bottom line. Kalanian thought he might have a little bit of a look, but nothing doing that time around. More or less just letting him know he's there, as if he didn't know already.
Just hounding his rearview mirror, completely filling it for laps on end, as Hanneman and Thronberg are also pretty close together there. Thronberg trying to shoot around on the outside. Is he going to do a double file into the chicane? No, he'll back in behind there.
Little stutter from Hanneman as he got on the brakes that time around.
Yeah, a little bit weird turning sideways. That opens the door for Bryce Fontaine to shoot by to 4th place.
Indeed it does.
Still, no, as I say that, they're still side by side in a turn 2.
Thronberg's going to have the inside coming into 3. Relatively slow corner here. We'll see if Fontaine can power around the outside, because he does have that extra room. Yeah, he'll just go full on outside that curb, but it looks like Thronberg's gonna just hang on, or maybe I'm speaking too soon still.
Oh, no.
Oh!
And through all that,
oh!
Macaulay with a problem.
Go figure. I was following him, but I was watching the race feed. I look back by like half a second, and his nose is in the wall. Yeah, just loose out of that turn, one of the last ones in the infield section. Not a matter of carrying too much speed, because as you could see, he was only in 2nd gear at the time.
Just completely lost the back end there. At a turn 6.
And he's lost himself about 9 seconds worth of track time for his trouble.
But there is still that first stage caution to come, so there is still time to raise it. And he gets in the wall there down the front stretch. But as I was saying, there's still time to get back in this one. He's in 5th, just has to try and take it a little bit more easy here to make his way back to the front eventually. Now on lap number 9, a 12 for stage 1, 55 in the overall race. All but one playoff driver within the top 10 at the moment. Mason Tomlinson's back in 14th. Not exactly ideal.
No, that's especially, again, now that we're down to 8, seeing the other 7 tangibly getting time is going to count for something, as we've got CD Bangerman pit lane.
Putting on the right side tires. Is he going to go with a left 2? Yes, he does. 4 tires and fuel.
Well, means he won't have to stop during the caution, so prioritizing track position early on, and if we look at the window, he should be able to get through to the stage 2 caution stop with little to no issue at this point.
100%. So Jordan Kalinian leads the way, just over 2.5 seconds ahead of Raymond Hanneman. And since we do have 3 laps remaining in the stage, winding down here to the end of stage number 1, we will quickly go side by side, get some sponsor and partner shedheads done and over with. We'll be back in just a little bit with live coverage of the first race of the round of 8 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. It's the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 1:30 at the Charlotte Roval.
Good morning, Philip. Time for an oil change. Remember last time?
I'd rather not.
Took 3 hours. You forgot little Henry's video game. You're not as entertaining as a video game, Philip.
Silence your oil change anxiety at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Get an expert oil change in about 15 minutes with no appointment needed.
Thanks for coming in.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Back now to live coverage of the first race of the round of 8 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs at the Charlotte Roval. Thought I heard something there. Bryce Fontaine's on pit road.
Well, it looks like it's just a regularly scheduled pit stop here for... Wait. When did he come in, though? Because pit lane was closed. 2 laps to go. Anyway,
hang on. Yes, there.
Oh. Yikes.
Very quickly get it one more time. Ooh.
Oh,
hard hits. Through turns 2, 3, significant damage.
Losing lots of body work. Meanwhile, Kalinian's about to claim the stage.
Indeed, there's the stage checker flag for the 0-0 of Jordan Kalinian. Hanneman, Thronberg, 2nd, 3rd. Corbin's going to get 4th. Jose Mercado's coming around to 5th. Belmonte, 6th. Scott Bailey, 7th. Hagemom's just getting back for 8th. Andy Hurdle and Kyle Knoll are starting to catch up as well. So I think I'd say about now, yeah. There's the yellow.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, I was a little bit thrown off because the standings hadn't updated to reflect Bryce's now retirement from the race just yet. So I was following Andy in 10th, but he was still, well, in 9th, but he was still showing me as 10th. So that's where I was a little bit thrown off.
Fair enough, but yeah, that's heartbreaking there for the 22 at Bryce Fontaine. No one else collected in that one, thank goodness, but from just falling short of that Talladega victory 2 weeks ago and now here the first DNF at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval in the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130, which will try to see if we can get this one more time. Okay, it's going to be the next lap.
Well, he had mentioned in the iRacing text chat that there might be some weather issues down in Florida at the moment, so I'm wondering if maybe something contributed to that here, or whether it was just maybe a miss on the turn. Either way, he said that if he was to disconnect, there could be potential for some things happening, but that's a hard hit regardless.
100% for the 22 Eternal Racing Toyota. Driver to Cape Coral, Florida for Hyperdrive Esports out of this one.
Indeed so.
As, yeah, putting the first couple points there together should be interesting, Jordy.
That's precisely what I'm doing at the moment.
So while you go ahead and do that, these cars are rolling under the yellow flag for the first time tonight, with Jordan Kalinian still your race leader. I want to give a couple of shout-outs to some drivers here with recent milestones and accomplishments. The 48 is Scott Bailey, of course, Season 4 champion, the number 48 Coors Light Chevrolet. He reached 80 career starts at Talladega, the 9th driver all-time to reach 80 or more career starts in the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series. Jordan Kalinian, and not here with us tonight, but the 21 of Adam Wilson both reached 40 career starts at Talladega. Blake Thronberg's victory at Talladega made him the 27th different winner in series history. And then there's, where is he? There he is, the 97 Ty Higginbottom, our Season 3 champion. After tonight, he will be one start away from 100.
Yeah, and wait, did I? Oh, suppose it would help if I made sure my formulas were updated correctly. Yeah, that'll work.
But
I was
yeah,
wondering
again,
why it looked off.
Again on the 97 at Higginbottom, he would go in behind Daniel Cudmore as the 7th driver all time if he were to start next Monday night at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. In behind him, Andy Hurdle is now he would be 4 starts away after tonight, but he's going to have to, I believe, if my math serves correctly, he would have to wait until the next GTR 250 at Daytona in Season 7. Go figure for car number 7.
Yeah, that checks out. I trust your judgment at the moment, so we'll just get a roll with it.
Yeah, it's either Daytona or it'd be the second race, but either way, he'd have to wait until the next season. As cars are rolling down pit road, again, remember with the one to CD Magram, he made his 4 tire and fuel stop just before the end of the first stage.
Sure did.
Yeah, so the only car still on the track, everybody else to the pit road.
And while they're all there, I can go ahead and give you some updates now. Yeah, helps to have formulas put in properly, of course. So we're all good now. And yeah, 7 of our 8 playoff drivers wound up in the points, and we'll get to the ramifications of that in a second. Jordan Kalinian with the stage win, now 67 points to the good on the bubble, so to speak. Then it gets a lot tighter. Blake Thronberg, after finishing 3rd in the stage, his gap to the bubble is 3 points. And then you have Corbin McCauley and Raymond Hanneman tied for third right now on 4,018. In real time, McCauley finishing fourth in the stage, Hanneman second to make up that balance. Then 2 points back on the outside is the number 60 of Justin Belmonte, despite finishing sixth in the stage. Scott Bailey drops outside the championship 4 after finishing seventh in the stage after starting at 10th. Ty Higginbotham grabs 3 points for 8th, but he's 9 points out. And Mason Tomlinson, he's the one guy who came up empty-handed out of our playoff drivers, so he finds himself 8th as we run in real time, 10 points outside of the championship 4 as we run live.
Thanks very much for those real-time updates there, Jordy. As at a pit road there, interesting call. The 97 of Ty Higginbottom did not go for tires. Might have fuel. I thought I saw in the car there maybe it looked like something on the car. Maybe a damage fix there or something like that. Probably fuel, I would imagine, but no tires. So he makes his way up to the front again in behind C.D. Magrum. He stayed out, as we mentioned earlier, because of his pit stop in the before the end of the first stage. But Higginbottom jumps the field for those who did come down.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he's a bit of a sitting duck, though. It is only 8 green flag laps that we're going to be looking at, because you can see the lights still on the pace car. That means we're going one more at least. But yeah, we'll have to see how the 97 is able to hang on, especially knowing that he has his fellow playoff drivers effectively nipping at his heels here, just waiting to leave him behind if they can.
Yeah, Higginbottom, one of many drivers in this field who'd be looking for his first road/street course victory on the series, based on the notes that I have. Of course, Jordan Kalinin has 7 all-time. You got a former Jonathan Peden in there with a couple. There's a Mike Marini. Corbin McCauley, his last one coming back in Season 2 at Sonoma. Of course, Scott Bailey with a couple. Bryce Fontaine got one in there earlier this year at Montreal in the Cows Fried Chicken and Barbecue 111, which actually, you know what? Yeah, that is one thing I did miss from earlier. Where is it? Yes. This is the finale for the Cows Fried Chicken and Barbecue Dash for Cash.
Right, all the things that are happening around this particular time, and the last of our in-season championships. And we're happy to have the folks at Kyle's on board. They've been a fantastic sponsor for the last couple seasons, and great to see them further that initiative here with this 4-race challenge.
And you know what I find funny? Jordan Kalinin has 9 wins on the year. None of them have been any of these races.
That's just so.
Because Montreal.
First one's Montreal, yeah.
Bryce Fontaine won Montreal. Raymond Hanneman won Texas, and then Darlington went to Justin Belmonte,
who still didn't manage to find his way into this Final 4 somehow, despite winning.
No.
He must have missed one along the way, did he?
Yeah, he had a couple of absences during the regular season, but was still, of course, he was the bubble buster. He was able to win his way in, of course, at Darlington in that exciting finish. But yeah, quite the Final 4 for the Dash for Cash. I think it's 150 Canadian dollars going to the driver who's the best finishing of these 4. It's quite a Final 4 to say the very least. So Jordan Kalinin, Blake Thronberg 3, Kalinин's 00. Bryce Fontaine 22, Raymond Hanneman 85. Again, as I said, the highest finishing of those drivers will walk away just a little bit richer.
Yeah, I mean, if we do the exchange, I think that's roughly $11 billion American. Don't quote me on that, but I've been known to be wrong before, folks.
Something like that, sure. But anyway, so yeah, based on that order at the moment, you have Kalinin and Hanneman together there on row 2. There's Thromer back in behind the 85. And then Bryce Fontaine, of course, is out, so that's, yeah, that goes down to 3 cars now. But on the front row, it's a pair of Tornado Alley E-Racing drivers with CD Magram, your control car, back to the green for stage 2 on lap 17.
And yeah, we'll see how Higginbotham's able to handle things, having not changed tires, as we referenced before. Suppose Mangrum would be in that older tire category, having hit him at, I believe, lap 8.
Jordan Kalinian already making the moves. He's looking to the inside of CD Magram for the race lead into turn 4, and he is going to take it.
Yeah, it's a traction battle at that point, and when you're looking at Jordan Kalinian with fresh tires, Ty Higginbotham very much not doing that. CD Mangrum very much not doing that. You just see Mangrum falling by the wayside here. Higginbotham not so much. But yeah, Mangrum not the start he would have wanted to this stage.
So Kalinian jumps out. Raymond Hanneman trying to get a good run in behind Higginbotham. Oh, the 97 may have gotten the wall there out of the second oval turn on this oval layout. Everyone getting through the back stretch chicane into the other corners of the oval portion of this racetrack. A little bit of close quarter action towards the back of the top 10. Justin Belmonte might have had something happen there through the chicane.
And, I mean, these are all guys that we're talking about that don't really have any room for error, especially since our playoff field gets cut half after next week, as that's Ireland with a little bit of mishap.
Your best of the rest championship points leader. Looks like a bit of a lock up and around. Got it back going.
Yes, the man in our Discord chat who said, and I quote, "When there's a perfectly good oval at this track, along with a frowning / disappointed gif. I suppose we know why now."
Oh, yeah, there you go. So Macaulay's up to 3rd. He's in behind Raymond Hanneman. 2nd and a half back, and then it's Ty Higginbotham, who's still been hanging on decently here, although CD Magram's only fallen back to 6th through all that, so not terrible for the number 1 Nordic Lumino. Ty Higginbotham. Oh, geez, the commentator's jinx just happened, didn't it?
Well, either that or now is really feeling the pain of those tires.
That too.
Little column A, little column B, at least you have an out.
So now just over a second and a half between the 0-0 and the 85. Some double file action towards the back of the field. Andy Hurdle getting past Tom Janikowski. So yeah, decent separation with him at the top 4, 5.
Yeah, certainly not the close quarters we experienced in stage 1.
Of course, these drivers are learning this racetrack. Again, we both mentioned it earlier about all their talks behind the scenes dealing with this racetrack, and especially this Gen 7 ever since that overhaul that it had got about a month, 2 back or so.
Yeah, start of June, so that's 3 months.
There you go.
With, again, more updates to come tomorrow. So, yeah, this Charlotte Roval, as we know it, will probably undergo some fundamental change in terms of how it feels.
Indeed. It will. Got some people that have chimed into our live chat ever since we first started broadcasting. Again, thanks for your patience through some of the technical difficulties that we've had at the start and throughout this one, but it seems like we're getting back on track as Ty Higginbotham looks to be falling back just a little bit more. Scott Bailey going to capitalize up to 6. Again, he'll want to try and get all the points that he can to get back above the cut line. Again, -3 after stage number 1. So Higginbotham falls back to 8th. Jose Mercado moving up there as well. But Natasha's cheering on Raymond Hanneman. JD Magram, of course, cheering on CD Magram as usual. the Sean O'Neill for Mason Tomlinson. And of course, there was a 22 of Bryce Fontaine saying, I quote, skill issue, car never did that during practice, meatballed and done. And he said with that crash, there goes his average of second on the road courses this season, calling it what a way to go out.
Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of, less than ideal situation here for one Kyle Knoll as well. Off that inside wall, a little bit strange. Monster.
Oh, Scott Bailey had something happen on the backstretch chicane as we were going on about that.
Everything is happening. And
yeah, a little wide.
Too much curb.
Too much curb, went wide. That drops him back to 9, so a little bit of that making up he just did there in the past couple laps has suddenly come crashing back down on lap 21. Just a couple laps remaining until the end of stage number 2. Last lap will be lap 24 against 12-12 between stages 1 and 2, and then that final one at 31 on paper, but again, it's going to be under that because we're going to have a couple laps, of course, under caution.
Yeah,
that will cycle through.
Call it 27 green flag laps.
There you go. Oh, that doesn't help.
Yeah, another Bailey bump.
Now again, remember this driver back in Season 4. He won the penultimate race on the year, the second to last race of the round of 8, 2 seasons ago. And that's what, at Auto Club, and that's what got him into the championship finale at Homestead, where he then went on to win the championship. He didn't win the race. That was Dylan Baum that got that done. But the highest finishing driver of that championship for, he came in clutch, essentially Joey Logano style. So that opportunity is still wide open in Las Vegas next Monday.
In it to win, it absolutely applies.
And again, that's just what the playoffs offer too. You got to win when it matters the most.
Yes, you do. As probably get a closer look at the lap counter here and make sure I'm with the leader on my spotting version of iRacing.
Yeah, when Kalinian comes around this time by, pit road will be closed. He has a 4-second gap over Raymond Hanneman. Macaulay looks to be catching about 0.8 back at the moment, getting to 7.
Yeah, it's going to be all about the long run here, obviously. We had the 12-lap opener, then effectively 8 competition laps. We see Higginbotham tapping the inside of that.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Well, I'm certainly hoping... Well, we still
that's
see
big.
him.
That's big. Wow.
Are we talking like another
Yes.
engine letting go, potentially?
Or no, well, no, he slammed the wall twice there, going through turns 7 and 8.
Well, yeah, I saw that, but I was wondering if something let go that would have contributed to it.
And this is why with TrackCams22.com, we can go back and get a replay of what might have gone down with the 97.
Yeah, because wide on that turn, we had seen him kind of go into ghost mode a couple of times.
Yeah, and then he about went head on there into the outside wall at a turn 8, and then just kept disappearing. And I'd imagine there's probably a tire off or something like that on his right side, because you kind of saw a little bit kind of wobbling up and down there. Yeah, that right front especially.
Yeah, that's a rough old go for our Season 3 champ.
Yeah, Kalini will be coming around to the white flag, assuming pit road is closed.
Yes.
Great. And yeah, Bryce Fontaine's chiming in. Yeah, that wall kills the car instantly, which, yes, that has been... we've seen that shown in real life before, too. I remember... Well, I won't say exactly kill, but I think of like a Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick situation back a couple of years ago during the playoffs. Their feud starting at Bristol and then went to the Charlotte Roval. Contact was made. Elliott slammed that exact same wall there. And then I don't know if he used like a NASCAR video game style intimidator move on Kevin Harvick to then somehow have him go flying off in the turn 1 wall, eliminating him from that race. Like,
Yeah, your memory of that would certainly outdo mine, to put it that way. But we've seen it claim a couple of drivers. I think we've even seen it claim Kyle Knoll potentially here. He's still in pit lane. Same kind of area on the track, I believe.
yeah, that was back in 2021. Playoff race of the Charlotte Roval. We knew Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott, so a little bit of real life facts that we throw in there every now and then. But yeah, as Fontaine kept saying there, the one over the wall before the oval, if you hit it, you hit that and you're done essentially.
Speaking of done, confirmation, Ty Higginbotham has manually disconnected, so his night appears to be done. He'll be in must-win mode next week.
Yeah, and -9 after stage 1. That's going to be a lot worse of a differential in behind there. Meanwhile, for Jordan Kalinian, stage checker flag back to back.
And I mean, at this point, I would say mathematically, you could say he's through regardless. But
Yeah.
we'll get the numbers right, obviously.
Yeah, there's a difference between out of your mouth and what's officially there on papers. Jose Mercado will come around to finish off the top 5. Then there's Belmonte, Bailey, Magram, Tomlinson, Marini are just getting back here. So as they get through the chicane, Marini a little bit of a hop there over the curb, back to the line. To wrap up the drivers collecting stage points, there's the caution flag. And we'll put this on for the 0-0. Again, that puts him to now
A lot.
17 stage wins on the year.
Yeah, that's good, right?
Well, the second best is Scott Bailey with 5, so
Okay, cool.
So Jordan Kalinian continue to do Jordan Kalinian things. All he has now left to do is, in terms of within the race, we're not going to talk the pole because, again, he didn't get that. That was Corbin McCauley. But in terms of the race itself, with the stages up to the checker flag, if Kalinian gets that 3 for 3, then he is well right there on his way to 10 wins on the year.
And I mean, that would tie a single season record if he's able to put that together. That was established, of course, in season 4, first in the iRacing era. Of course, that 10-win season didn't result in an Earl Ross Cup, as I'm sure Corbin McCauley would not like to be reminded.
Yep. Which, yeah, speaking of wins and winners, too, the record that we've had for the number of different winners every season is a 4-way tie at 9 between seasons 1, 2, 4, and 5. Season 3 at 7. Right now, in season 6 through 18 races so far, we're at 8. So, including tonight, there's only 3 races remaining to try and get 2 more potential different winners to beat that record and get to 10. But after tonight, they'd be only down to 2 more, where we'd have to get a different winner at Las Vegas and Phoenix. So, Jordan Kalinian is certainly not helping the case, but you know what? I don't blame him.
Yeah, he's not going to want to help that, certainly.
Well, do you remember that post-race winner interview that he had a couple weeks back where there was kind of that banner on with between him and Corbin McCauley, where he's like, you know what, maybe I could give the 17 a couple of victories to end his cold streak, but that finale, we're going to have to trade that to let the 0-0 win that one.
Yeah, just not that last one. That
Yeah.
was the takeaway from that. And yeah, while our drivers are circulating and presumably to pit next time around, we can go over some updated playoff standings now.
Oh, that's rough.
As I was gonna say, I think I was looking away just
No.
at the wrong time
I'm looking. No, I'm looking at what you're looking at. That's what I mean. It's Higginbottom and
Ah.
Tomlinson.
Oh, wait. Did I... Oops. Hang on. I inverted these two. Whoopsie. Okay, that's more accurate.
Still not ideal.
It's not great because they're both still very much outside the picture right now. But, yeah. Jordan Kalinian, I believe, don't think anyone could stop him at at this point right now. I think he's mathematically qualified. I'd have to make 100% sure.
You have
Regardless,
to.
the
You
gap
have,
is a very
you
nice
have
one.
to because of that number, right?
Yeah, the gap is a very nice one. Yes, so he's obviously, if we're going to be mature about it, he's 69 points to the good right
Nice.
now. So, well, actually, that number should be 74. I think I messed up that formula.
Oh,
Yeah. So he's 69 points ahead of fourth place Raymond Hanneman. So that tells you just the level of execution that Jordan Kalinian's had here tonight. So, yeah, if we, again, get serious about this for a second, Kalinian 74 points up on the fifth place driver right now, which is Justin Belmonte. Blake Thronberg, 7 points up, so 67 separating Kalinian and Thronberg at the top. Corbin McCauley +6 to the good right now, and Raymond Hanneman's holding down that fourth and final championship 4 spot as it stands right now, +5 up on the aforementioned Justin Belmonte, who's fifth. Scott Bailey still 7 points back. Ty Higginbotham, we saw what happened to end his night. As it stands, he's 15 points back, but that's before figuring in race results. So it's going to hurt him a lot more the way things have gone down tonight. And Mason Tomlinson rounds out the playoff field right now. He is -18. And that even comes with the 2 points for 9 in stage 2. Although the one thing I will say in Higginbotham's case, obviously you're seeing the playoff drivers at the sharp end of the field. The fact that it's a smaller field tonight and it's not like a low to mid 20s, that's going to help Higginbotham stay relatively within touching distance.
Oh!
But, oh boy!
Whoa! Pit exit shenanigans?
That's all, folks.
There was one angle there where it looked extremely tight with what was going down there.
All the John Cena pit crews doing their job, and Kalinian just ran out of space.
And then Thomas had nowhere to go, but he was able to get on the brakes just in time by the looks of it, but that's a little awkward.
Well, when do the cars get out of ghost mode once they're on pit road? Like, is it here? Like, is it a matter of, you know, McCauley accidentally running Kalinian out of space there?
It's either that or Kalinian just simply made a mistake, and it might have been a panic. I don't know, but what?
That's a very interesting question now. And somehow out of all this, our 2-time Roval winner is the race leader. How?
We're going to go back.
He must have done something in pit lane to
Two
jump
tires
the
only.
field.
2 tires only.
Okay. Interesting call. Again, we know everyone has to come in for a green flag stop anyway because of the fuel window.
Yes.
I don't hate this from Scott Bailey.
I mean, he's got to try something. If it doesn't work out tonight, he does have one more chance at Las Vegas, and we know how good he can be on some of the bigger tracks.
Yeah, and again, we also know he's the only guy who's won here. So, round of 8, not a bad spot for the 48, regardless of the platform.
100%. Kyle Knoll's been in his pit box for over 13 minutes. I would imagine he's probably done, but you never know. We've seen cars go on for longer and still make it back out for a couple of points at least. Maybe try to take advantage of some positions if other drivers experience misfortune. But of course, Higginbotham and Fountaine both out, so 14 cars on the track. Knowles on pit road. Higginbotham and Fountaine are both out. So Knoll, if he were to get back on the track, he could get over Higginbotham maybe. As everyone goes double file for this restart on lap 29 to 55 to get this third and final stage underway. By the way, I did mention about our live chat earlier, going through some of the comments already made. Feel free to enter in there, leave a comment, let us know who you're cheering on, where you may be cheering from, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our future live broadcasts for the next 2 Mondays coming up to wrap up our 6th season for the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series and iRacing, of course, to wrap up the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. We will find out in just a couple of weeks who the 4 drivers will be to settle it out in a winner-takes-all Black Fly Championship finale at Phoenix Raceway, returning to that track as a finale for the first time since the very beginning, where Ryan Gibson held off Corbin McCauley for the first ever championship. So currently at 20 concurrent viewers, not too shabby. Again, don't forget to subscribe. Help our numbers out, help our engagement out. Scott Bailey and Corbin McCauley on the front row. McCauley had made his way back up after some earlier stuff and whatever on earth just happened there at the Pigs exit with Kalinian, who will be restarting in third beside Hanneman. And one thing I want to point out too with that whole playoff situation right there, you got McCauley and Kalinian, your 2 best drivers from last season. Then you got the 2 top rookies this season. It's quite the dynamic there.
Everybody's coming together. Everyone knows each other's skill level after a season. So this is when you see the best of the best really make themselves known here. So we'll see if we'll see who's going to capitalize at the right time here to book a championship 4 spot.
Indeed, but with Las Vegas coming up and knowing the drivers down below that cut line at the moment, like your Justin Melmonte, Scott Bailey's, Ty Higginbottoms, those guys, not Kalinian, but those other drivers still above the cut line, not even close to safe just yet. And we still have one more final stage to get done here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Scott Bailey, we'll see how desperate he may be. We'll see if this part of whatever strategy he has in mind will go in his favor. Corbin McCauley, your Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue pole sitter, back on the top row as the iRacing safety car, official pace car, will roll off to the pit area. Drivers through the front stretch chicane. The dash to the checkered flag starts again. Big jumps for the 48 and the 17 already. McCauley to the inside, past the start-finish line. Everybody else almost packed up together. There's the dive from the 17 to the race lead. Everybody else trying to get through the first couple of corners here into the infield portion of this racetrack. Mercado and Magrum.
Looks like Kalinian didn't necessarily get the best start either, as it looks like Hanneman's jumped him for third. Obviously, 27 laps of green flag running. I don't think you're going to be especially worried right now, but just get that rhythm. And if you're Hanneman, do what you can to try and consolidate some positions. He's had a fantastic run of it here tonight. And don't be surprised if he's able to hang on, but I think Jordan Kalinian will have an answer here at some point.
Couple of passes throughout the field in the first portion of this race. Oh, Scott Bailey goes around!
Oh!
And a couple of cars cut through the backstretch chicane.
Belmonte, Thronberg, both thrown off by what they would have seen there.
So a lot of scrambling there. Through that chicane, turns 11 and 12. So that's going to shake things up a lot here at the front of this field. Scott Bailey has fallen all the way back to 13th.
And now for Bailey, we saw him take that curb hard earlier and take a little bit of a spin. I think it was the same spot, was it not? Or no, it might have been the earlier chicane. My apologies.
Oh no, he did have a moment, just had a bit of a handful coming out of the corner. He didn't spin, he got it back going, but this time around it then goes a lot more against him this time.
Well, this is where you wonder if the 2-tire gamble might have immediately produced a bit of a fallout.
You saw him got to get the wall a little bit there before the chicane, and lucky for him, he didn't go slamming back into the barrier. But that's a lot of track position that has been lost, and he's going to try to make his way back through the field. We'll see how that will go with the potential strategy that he has, or at least that he had in place. That what just happened there might change things up a little bit here now on lap 30 of 55. Corbin McCauley just over a second ahead of rookie Raymond Hanneman, who's looking for his first win since Texas earlier this year, where he was able to hang on over the 17 to the checker flag on a couple of late race restarts.
Indeed was. Sorry, I'm just
Oh,
doing
Belmonte.
Oh,
Now with trouble on the other chicane now in the front stretch.
I'll be back here in a second, just doing a bit of background.
Right front with a little slap there to the outside wall. So that drops Bailey back to 10th. With Bailey just 2 positions in behind there. He's got Mike Marini in that little bit of a sandwich right there.
He does. In Bailey's case, like, what did I say about him whenever he won the Charlotte Oval? He's a guy that knows how to play the long game. So the fact that that happened relatively early in this stage, I've got some confidence that he'll be able to kind of work his way back up through the field a little bit. Maybe not necessarily a race challenging performance now, but if he can salvage some good points, it's still a worthwhile run for the 14.
Who did pass Mike Marini there in turns 1 and 2 on the oval portion of the racetrack. So he's got Belmonte now in his sights. As Corbin McCauley's taking lap 32. These guys are on about, all these guys will be getting to 5 lap stints now. And again, remember that fuel window is at 16 to 18. Just seeing now in our live chat, we've had someone else chime in, a Paige White cheering on CD Magrum from Hope Illicut, Georgia.
I was gonna say I'm reading the same thing.
Hoplicat something. Again, I'm not the greatest with certain words. I'm not the greatest guy with pronunciations. I mean, there was a time.
It almost reads as
no, Scott Bailey again with a problem.
With a bit of a bailout. It almost reads as hope you like it.
Yeah, I don't think Bailey likes this. That's for sure.
Hey, and there it is. It's hope you like it. We got confirmation.
It is hope you like it. Okay, good to know. The more you know. But yeah, certainly Scott Bailey won't be liking this situation right here.
Oh, just
in the turns 3 and 4. Oh, and yeah, he had quite the swing there almost at Justin Belmonte. Nearly took him out with him.
Ugh. Not ideal, to say the very least.
Yeah, the 48 Coors Light Blue Collar Racing Chevrolet continuing to only mire himself back even more through the field. Now in 14th, Raymond Hanneman and Jordan Kalini have caught up to Corbin McCauley. Did we miss something with the 17?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say that, especially throwing in Jordan Kalinian on a road course.
Oh, on that replay, did go a little wide there on the backstretch chicane, so that didn't help.
Yeah, just kind of hanging on to it there, it appears.
So, regardless, the top 3 are within just a second of each other. You got McCauley, Raymond Hanneman, Jordan Kalinian. You got a driver trying to break that'd be an 18-race winless streak now, I'd say, since Homestead Miami last season. You got Raymond Hanneman trying to pick up his 2nd win of the year. Oh, no.
Oh, boy. And Hanneman's going to get on the hammer here. So's Kalinian.
And yeah, McCauley would have had to give up positions right there, I imagine. So that's going to drop him back to 3rd, still with the rest of the cars right there. So the pressure certainly was applied from Raymond Hanneman and Jordan Kalinian. Kalinian got a little closer there with that little entry into the front stretch chicane. Might have the look underneath Hanneman at some point.
Yeah, now we'll see how Hanneman will hang on here. Because still a long way to go, as McCauley, I think, might have tapped that wall coming out of 1.
Mason Tomlinson might have had a wide moment to turn in himself, allowing Jose Mercado to get ahead.
Yeah, I think for the playoff drivers here, it could just be a matter of survival as much as anything else. But Raymond Hanneman, suddenly things have really opened up for you. Had a good run here for the lion's share of the night, and now that he's got some clear track in front of him, let's see what kind of speed that 85 has.
The Ottawa, Ontario native with Jordan Collini of all drivers right there on his back bumper. I said pressure earlier. That's a complete understatement knowing the two drivers that are right behind car number 85. Well, he had very strong impressions with us from the get-go when he first joined us at round number 3 at Homestead Miami Speedway, catching up to Blake Thronberg in the Rookie of the Year standings quite drastically over a bunch of races. And then as of recently, things started to kind of fall back down a little bit. Playoffs, 13th and 12th at Bristol and Kansas, and then 4th and 11th at Talladega. So he's been all right, kind of up and down, but trying to have maybe a bit of a big break right here is, oh, wow, Jose Mercado with significant left front damage.
Yeah, that's a little more than a big break. That looks terminal.
Already eliminated from the playoffs after Talladega 2 Mondays ago. So the Kissimmee, Florida driver for GTR Motorsports in Valvoline. Oh, the barrels.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, that hits hard. Oh, yeah, just lost it coming out of the banking. And just mashed.
Yikes. So now we'll be coming to 20 laps to go. Yes, that is the point when it does show that part. Now the laps remaining instead of what lap count exactly is on the timing screens on the leaderboard that you can see on the screen. So now 20 laps to go in the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. And kind of, again, as we were talking earlier, it's been rare this season with the left and right hand turning where we have cars kind of packed together battling it out for the lead and or the win. Here at the Charlotte Roval, just over a second between the 85, the 00, and the 17. But again, these guys still will have to make their pit stops. They're currently on 9-lap stints with 20 laps to go. And of course, any instance that happens, there will be no cautions. It's green flag all the way to the end. Every man for himself. You gotta make it count.
Yeah, and these are the laps that matter. Like, everything's been building up to this point, and we're going to be saying that over and over as, well, Tomlinson's another guy who's very much in that mix right now, who's going to need some really good fortune here, either to end tonight or to build up to Vegas next week to give himself a shot.
Okay, one of those drivers that deal with something there at turn 6. Again, the elevation changes, especially in that area of the racetrack. It messes with your car like hell.
I mean,
and he went for another one.
We've seen a number of guys get caught out there. Absolutely. It's been a very rough spot, and that's where we've seen the Wall of Doom, I guess you could say, claim a couple of drivers, as we've got Kyle Noel now confirmed as a retirement as well. So 13 still on track.
So yeah, Mercado, Higginbottom, Nolan, Fontaine, all out of this one. At least the 97, 15, 22 are official. The 41, it does say still pit for. Yeah, he's disconnected. It says pit, but eventually it will say out. So essentially, yeah, 4 cars out, 13 remaining on the racetrack, all on the lead lap. We haven't gotten to that point of lap cars just yet. We will, of course, with the pit stops that are going to go down. But in terms of the actual natural green flag racing, not just yet. You saw a couple of lockups there between the 85 and the 00. A little loose there, too, into the chicane.
Now we'll see how Hanneman handles this one. Looks like he saved himself for now.
Oh, as as we're talking about all that, here comes Kalinian.
Yeah, Hanneman got a nice run up high out of that start finish into one, though. So that's what allowed him to power through and retain the position.
Incredible dynamic we're seeing here for the lead and the win. You got a rookie, a sophomore, and a long-timer.
Indeed you do.
Oh,
And
there goes Kalinian.
not to mention a former champion in this mix here as well.
Yes.
The defending champion, matter of fact. As, yeah, now we have that change. Bit of a bump there, I think.
The 17 got that wall, that certain wall that we've been talking about all race. He just barely got it.
And that came after his nose nudged the back of Hanneman there a little bit.
I think Tomlinson might have just had something happen. Yeah, a little bit. Oh
Boy.
Oh.
Two wheels up.
Yeah, he's back to 12th. Bailey's still stuck back towards the back of the field there in 11th. And then, yeah, Kalinian has just retaken the race lead, coming to 17 laps to go. Now it's McCauley chasing down Raymond Hanneman right in behind him through the front stretch chicane.
Yeah, neither one of these guys are going to want to get, or want to let Jordan Kalinian, get too far out ahead, which is a lot easier said than done, of course. But maintaining pace is going to be important because, yeah, we see Belmonte going for a bit of chicanery through that section of the track.
So the action continuing to unwind down here. Playoff drama all over the place here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130th, third annual running of this one. First iRacing race on this layout. First time here since 2021. Under 17 laps remaining. We'd like to take this time now to thank all the sponsors and partners who helped make this happen here within the E-Motorsports Network, and of course for the NASCAR Series Season 7. Oh, no.
Oh.
Raymond Hanneman off, and then back. Big lockup. Thronberg will jump to third as a result. McCauley to second. As I was saying, of course, without all of our love, as Raymond Hanneman then goes to pit road, a little wobbly. Oh my goodness, no one's letting me talk.
No. But we'll have to see if, we're kind of in the sweet spot of the fuel window here now the rest of the way. So we'll see if Hanneman can deploy a bit of an undercut here, depending on whether or not he has fixes that he needs to go through here potentially, as Ireland's also going to come in.
As I was saying, without the sponsors and partners that support the network, without them, we wouldn't be able to be doing this every single Monday night. So thanks to, of course, Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, GTR Motorsports, Nordic Aluminum, Tornado Alley E-Racing, Zesty Paws, Ameriparker Racing, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, Little Rescue Reptile Rescue, Repulinks, Pizza Main, Audrey's Legacy, Blackfly, TrackHams22.com, of course, to wrap it all up, for providing us with how you're able to see all of this go down every single Monday night, excluding last Monday night, Labor Day. Forget about that. Of course, TrackHams22.com providing us with these amazing oval and roadside street course camera packages, all these camera packages that you see here on our live productions for the E-Motorsports Network on iRacing ever since we transitioned to iRacing back in 2023 for season number 4. So again, a big thanks to them. And you know what? It might make sense to let these cars cycle through these pit stops before we get to the good old TrackHams22.com crank it up again, though thanks to all the sponsors and partners. Without you, we wouldn't be able to be doing this on most Monday nights. I'll say most. We won't forget Labor Day, of course, last week, but we'll eventually get to that crank it up. We'll let these cars cycle through these final pit stops ahead of the ending of the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Roval. So still got 7. It'll be down to 6 cars now to make their way to pit road, as Justin Belmonte has just made his way down, and Mason Tomlinson around again in turn 6.
And that'll be Kalinian and McCauley putting him a lap down as a result. And
Hanneman now goes a lap down, but again, though, that top It'll be 6 eventually that has to still come down pit road. They're all in 14-lap stints.
And Hanneman would be on his out lap in that situation, so not necessarily fully up to speed just yet. But had been having some issues prior to.
Little handful there of the 17 of the backstretch chicane. Now with 15 laps to go.
But
he goes to pit road.
As does Kalinian.
Yes, along with Kalinian. Go on.
I was going to say that gap was coming down dramatically. Now I know why, of course. But Macaulay, I wonder if he had a faster entry point there, because it feels like he might have cut some time there. We'll have to see. I would assume it'll be full service for both guys to this point. You won't have to fuel as much, 14 laps to go. Yeah, roughly 3 seconds in the difference for the tires there, it would look like.
Jordy, I think.
Has it happened?
I think. That's all I can say. I think.
Well, I think, therefore,
yes,
I am. Is
we
goes.
just got, yes, his first speeding penalty of the season.
Well, I did say it felt like he closed some time up on the entry to pit lane. Oopsie.
I guess you can get it done and over with before the championship finale.
Oops.
I guess, but that is unfortunate.
Yeah,
and there he goes.
That is going to pretty much hand the win to Kalinian on a platter if he's able to keep it on the road here, so to speak.
Sam McCauley comes out 8th, but again, we still got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars to get to pit road. Thromer just making his way in on a 15-lap stint now with 14 laps to go. So a lot of these guys with that right front especially a little bit kicked up.
Yeah, meanwhile, 00 is just going to keep going to...
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Yep. He just crashed as I heard it. And we're seeing it. The 70 Macaulay Racing Chevrolet around. Boop.
And this is probably a bad time to say that it appears as though I may have screwed up my numbers at first when I gave the post stage 2 playoff picture. Something looked weird to me at the time. And I confirmed it. So yeah, now I've re-inputted the stage finishes. So as Hurdle has a little bit of a pit lane adventure himself. Locked up.
Maybe.
Yeah, of all the races we've had this season, and I know I've defaulted to this line before, but of all the races we've had this season, this is definitely one of them.
For all the weird things that have happened tonight, the one thing left would be Jordan Kalinian not winning.
Well, we've literally seen him nearly get struck by lightning this year.
Yes.
With that, like, it feels like it would be I guess, for lack of a better term, for something strange to... Well, I mean, he had the strange pit road adventure in the stage 2 costume as well.
Yes. Yeah,
He'll be hoping that's his only calamity for the night.
Yeah, he was en route to a victory at Richmond up until, yes, Mother Nature just had other ideas in the late going. That led to your current race leader, C.D. Mecker, going on to win. He's on a 17-lap stint, though. I imagine he'll be coming to pit road. If you want to have an idea now, the 00 and the 3, it's a 16-second gap.
Yeah, and now, again, I mentioned that I had some errors in my math before. The issues that Macaulay's been having over the last few laps, they're relevant to this now. because if you look at where drivers are, McCauley's fallen to 8th. Belmonte's 4th on track right now. If they were to finish as they are right now, Belmonte would jump McCauley for the final chance 4 spot by 1 point going into Vegas. So the updated and for sure correct numbers this time. Kalinian plus 74 to the good. That's still right. Hanneman on the strength of 2 second place finishes in the stages here tonight. He's plus 8. Kronberg, 3rd in stage 1, 4th in stage 2. He's plus 7. McCauley, plus 3. 4th in stage 1, 3rd in stage 2. Justin Belmonte's been 6th in both. He's 3 points back of McCauley. Scott Bailey, 7th in both stages. 5 points back of that final spot. Ty Higginbotham, minus 13 right now, but bound to fall a little bit more based on him set to DNF, or having DNF here. And then Mason Tomlinson, minus 16 as it relates to that final spot. And that's even with the 2 points from 9th. So that's an updated and more accurate picture than the one I provided earlier. So my apologies for messing it up quite as badly as I did earlier.
But I think we can still say it's still just as close. And, right on the brink going into next Monday.
Yeah, and I mean, now that we've had a couple of adventures here in stage 3 involving McCauley and Hanneman, that's going to tighten things up towards the top 4 or around that bubble picture. Again, it's 3 right now. If it ends as it is right now, Belmonte would jump McCauley by 1 point, which I think is what we'd be looking at for a bubble picture, and Hanneman trying to help his cause here by trying to get past Bailey, which he does for 9th. Yeah, so still lots to decide here in the next 10 laps, and for all of our talk, I think this is probably the most relevant point in the season to suggest that literally every position matters.
Oh no, that couldn't be any more true here as we get now down to the final, 9 laps of the Kyle Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. Jordan Kalinian about at a close call there at the front stretch chicane, but he's still hanging on. With Blake Thronberg under 15 seconds behind him.
Yeah, that's a long way to go on these road courses, though.
Which we might as well, since things have kind of, knock on wood, things have kind of relaxed a little bit. We'll get some laps done over with. We are professionally morally obligated to do the TrackGames22.com, so we might as well get it done. And then we'll be back talking for probably the final 5 or 6 or so laps of this first race of the round of 8 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs with Jordan Kalinian leading the way. Let's crank those engine sounds up. And so that was the TrackCams22.com Crank It Up. Again, thanks very much to them for providing us with these camera packages that help us to really boost these live productions for each and every one of our E-Motorsports Network on iRacing races. And of course for Season 6 of the NASCAR Series and our 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs, as we're down now to the final 4 laps of the first race of the round of 8. The Cots Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, with Jordan Kalinian continuing to show the way here with over 16 seconds of a lead over rookie Blake Thronberg, which, by the way, we were just talking there behind the scenes about this number 17 car making all those positions up during the Crank It Up, and that is huge for his playoff situation.
Yeah, that's rather important because, before he Crank It Up, McCauley was 8th. Now he's since moved up to 5th, passing Jared Ireland, Andy Hurdle, and Mike Marini in that time. And again, that's important because next car on track is Justin Belmonte, which would cut down the gap that Belmonte would be making up, or the increment, which means McCauley would be +2 over Belmonte live as they run right this particular second if we were to be tracking to that level. So yeah, McCauley doing a decent job to salvage this one after what was looking like a top 2 finish. But yeah, the untimely speeding penalty, the first one he's had all year, of course, is ever so kindly mentioned to us. Came at not an ideal time, but he's, as I say, recovering the drive here in the late stages.
100% he is, as long as he can hang on for these final couple of laps here. Top 5 finish is his. Knock on wood. Jordan Kalini will be coming around to 2 laps to go. And as I was just saying there during the Crank It Up as well to you, for the 00 of Jordan Kalini, if he is able to hang on for this, unless something catastrophic happens, on his way to career win number 8 on the road/street courses, and that will be 8 of 10 since he first joined us. That would be 4 road/street course wins in a row. Could have been those with poles, but unfortunately it's going to end up being just 3 because Corbin McCauley got the pole here tonight. But still, nonetheless, also, the win here tonight would be career win number 18 overall since he first joined us last season. That would put him 2 wins away from Corbin McCauley all-time, who's currently at 20. And again, remember, that number 17 driver first started with us back in Season 1. Kalinian's been here since Season 5.
Not to mention, this would be win number 10 on the season, which would tie the single season mark.
Yeah, tie, you said?
Yeah, because Corbin had 10 in Season 4.
Right. So yeah, if Kalinian gets this one, and then if he were able to win Las Vegas and Phoenix as well, then we would have a tie going into Season 7 for career wins all time. And of course, as you said there, with that record, if he wins tonight and then he wins at Las Vegas, then that would get that single season record, of course. The popsicle sticks were in the air the last time around. Now the flagman is going to give the 00 Toyota out of Salisbury, North Carolina, the white flag. He keeps on piling up his resume and his trophy collection. 1 lap to go, 1 lap away from double-digit victories on the season. And obviously, of course, too, even though points-wise, yes, we can say what we're about to say, but still, a win is going to automatically lock him into the Championship 4 for the 2nd season in a row.
Yeah, points will no longer matter to him because that spot is locked down.
And then that will leave us with 3 drivers to battle out either for a win or for points, which, yes, 1 driver could possibly get on a win, and then it comes down to 2 drivers that will have to make up all the points that they can possibly get and finish high as well. And we were talking, too, behind the scenes that for a track like Las Vegas Motor Speedway, with its high speeds and some of the drafting that can also do a little bit, too, the runs at that place, it is no doubt going to be hellfire.
Yeah, it's Gonna be a wild one, and you would expect nothing less from a city with the reputation of Las Vegas, and we'd expect the fireworks.
And so he comes around through the final oval turns at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval and into the back stretch, or front stretch chicane, excuse me. And to the checker flag, he will come win number 10 on the year and an automatic berth into the championship for the 00 Jordan Killeen wins the 3rd annual Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. One spot locked down for the final 4 at Phoenix Raceway in 2 weeks. 3 spots remain for Las Vegas next Monday night. Blake Thromer going to come around for the runner-up finish in 2nd place after his win at Talladega 2 Mondays ago. And how about this? The one at CD Mangrum, even though he was eliminated from the playoffs after the round of 10 2 Mondays ago, he's going to come around and at least be able to come through with a podium finish.
Yeah, and we saw him take that early pit strategy. I wonder if that was ultimately something that helped him out later on. The fact that he was able to get everything lined up the way he did and get himself that track position early on. But yeah, admirable effort from Mangrum to grab that podium. But we know that this night is all about the 00 at this point, as we've said now 10 separate times.
Belmonte 4th, Macaulay 5th, a phenomenal hard charge out of him, a couple spots up through the top 10 into the top 5 to put himself above Justin Belmonte going into Las Vegas by just 2 points next Monday night. Hanneman 6th, he'll be just a couple more points above in there, of course, than Andy Hurdle 7th, Jared Ireland 8th, Mike Marini, Scott Bailey will round out the top 10. Not the kind of night that you'd see, like, again, Scott Bailey, Ty Higginbottom, especially, and Mason Tomlinson, even for their situation. Tomlinson's going to finish 13 6 laps down, so there's a lot of those guys that are going to be essentially in a must-win situation. Even at points-wise, even if 1 or 2 of them could be able to make up points, maybe, just, it's the competition factor, really, to take into consideration.
I've got the numbers plugged in already as it is, so you can see the kind of mountain the guys like Ty Higginbotham and Mason Tomlinson are going to have to climb in real time.
So how about this? How about for the CD Mangrum supporters, his fan base here in the chat? How about a podium finish for him? Of course, even though eliminated from the playoffs at Talladega, still trying to go out on a high note as we approach the end of the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Mangrum. He's a guy who's, I mean, regardless of how the results have been, overall, like, he's maintained a pretty positive attitude about everything. I know he was crushed, obviously, a couple of weeks ago that something out of his control put him out of the Cup picture for this year, but the fact that he's hanging around and coming in presumably for these last 3 races and racing the way he did tonight, great sign for the overall character of the driver as well.
Indeed, as the 00 Jordan Kalinian continues to celebrate. Win number 10 on the year, a single season win record tied now with Corbin McCauley, and he could beat it next Monday at Las Vegas Motor Speedway and trying to also reach McCauley in all-time wins as well. We could be at a 20-20 tie going into the GTR 250 at Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing, to begin season number 7 in 2026. And, you know, we'll try and get this little thing done and over with as well. We weren't able to play the pre-race edition of this, but might as well get it done and over with. Of course, the Valvoline post-race show. Valvoline Instant Oil Change post-race show coming up here. We'll play it and get through the results, and then we will talk to the 00 Jordan Kalinian. So Valvoline Instant Oil Change presents the post-race show. Again, thanks to them for the pre-race show and also the team standings as well for Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. Quickly go through unofficial results ahead of our talk with the 00 Jordan Kalinian picking up the dominant win here tonight. Of course, at least had his periodic dominance, to say the very least. We had a bunch of other different leaders in there as well. As actually, you know what, I'll quickly go to the race summary tab as well, because we kind of forgot that throughout the race. 2 cautions, 10 lead changes, 6 different leaders, 6 laps under caution. Repulink's fastest lap, that also goes to Kalinian with a 1:20.381 on lap 30. So there you go for that. Now we'll get back to the results as usual. Blake Throneberg, C.D. Mangrum, podium finishers. Justin Melmonte, Corbin McCauley, Raymond Hanneman, a trio playoff drivers there, 4th through 6th. Andy Hurdle, Jared Ireland, Mike Marini, 7th through 9th. Scott Bailey, another playoff driver there, rounding at the top 10, but will be in quite the situation going into Las Vegas next Monday night. The rest of the way are cars that did not finish on the lead lap. Only 10 cars left on the lead lap. Matthew McDonald, -1 lap in 11th, and Tom Janikowski. Mason Tomlinson, 6 laps down in 13th. He's going to be in a must-win situation at Las Vegas next Monday, along with also Ty Higginbottom in there as well in 15th. Sandwich in between them in 14th, Jose Mercado, 21 laps down. And for the rest of that little pack of cars there that just did not have Lady Luck on their side tonight, Kyle Knoll, Bryce Fontaine rounding out the 17-car field for tonight's 3rd annual Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, which now, Jordy, might as well go ahead and go to Discord and chat with our race winner.
All right.
Alrighty, Jordan Kalinian, do we have a copy?
Got you, Regan. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jordy and I can both hear you. You are yet again a winner here in Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series and iRacing, first race of the round of 8 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. So let's go through some of these stats. Win number 10 on the year. That ties a single season wins record with Corbin McCauley from Season 4. You're now at 18 career wins all time, 2 away from Corbin McCauley. Now you're at 8 career road/street course victories since you first joined us last season. And now I believe you're at 4 in a row now since the Pizza Main 180 at Monza back in June. You just keep racking things up on top of course, an automatic berth into now your 2nd participation in a Championship 4 for an Earl Ross Cup Playoffs here in the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series on iRacing. So everything came together. You kind of had your periodic moments throughout the race, a couple different leaders. You did have some challenges, but in that 3rd stage and final stage, you ran away with it. How about that?
Yeah, it really wasn't a straightforward race. Had to battle with Corbin and Raymond there for a good portion of the 3rd stage, and coming off of pit for stage 2, I got lost in the middle of Corbin's car when it goes to through and ran right into the barrier. So that was a bit embarrassing, but was able to come back. Car got really tight in the infield after that, so had to kind of take a few laps and relearn how to drive the car and figure out what curbs and stuff I could use to kind of get it to turn a little bit better for me. And then just managing the race from there, working my way back to the lead, and I think Corbin ended up getting the speeding penalty behind me, so that kind of took a lot of the pressure off. Was able to get it done. Really excited to get back to another Championship 4.
100% you'll be able to save yourself at Las Vegas Motor Speedway next Monday, of course. But again, back to the topic of the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Of course, our first time here since 2021. First time here within the iRacing era. A bunch of you guys, including yourself, were having your chats behind the scenes going into this one about how how the setup was, the way this track is ahead of the update that's going to have tomorrow, and plus, of course, with this Gen 7 car ever since the overhaul back in June, if memory serves correctly. So many different talks, and then we saw so many weird moments here tonight, and you guys dealing with, of course, loose cars, especially off some of the corner exits, the elevation changes, hard braking into the chicanes. There were a lot of mess-ups with a lot of the field throughout tonight, especially for some playoff drivers that are going to be going into must-win situations going into next Monday. So how were you able to get through all of it and be able to conquer yourself at the very end, dealing with everything that you guys were expecting going into tonight?
Yeah, from the sounds of it, we were using a setup that was designed for the last tire model, not the current one. So that really, the tires didn't like the setup, so it was really just sliding all over the place, and became a race to just keep it on the track and try to find speed where you can. Finally figured out about halfway through the second stage that you can kind of jump on some of the turtles if you hit them right for that backstretch chicane, and really carry a ton of speed through there. So I was just able to build on that and kind of apply that a couple other places and keep gaining the speed we needed to get back to the front and have a chance at it.
And a completely different dynamic in this one compared to some of the other road/street courses races this year, where most of them you've kind of ran away with it from basically start to finish, but this time you had a couple of challengers in there. How would you say this compared to some of your previous triumphs and just really in general the road/street courses that you've experienced this season?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more difficult ones. With how fast the track is, there's really not any passing zones. So you're really just relying on the guy in front of you to make a mistake or to get your nose in there and make them go a little bit wide. So just fortunate that everything worked out for me.
100% it did, and it was all in full display here tonight. Jordy, what do you got for Jordan again?
Well, as you were talking there, we did get a little bit of a clarification on what you were saying in regards to the setup, where you had said that it was a previous tire model. It is actually, we're getting confirmation now that it is for this model, but it's for the track refresh that didn't happen. So that's where the mismatch ultimately came from, is my understanding on that. And the other clarification that I appreciated was the hit road one, because we were trying to figure that one out, because I wasn't sure what point it kind of stopped ghosting and got back to drivers being in control. So yeah, appreciate that one. A little bit strange there, admittedly, but glad it didn't affect you there too much. So with all of that in mind, I'll actually get into a question now. I might have been stalling for time there. We kind of talked a little bit about the technical side already in relation to, some of the troubles that guys were having tonight. Maybe give me a little bit of a sense of the difference of the full oval configuration running Charlotte compared to the Roval setup, and just the different kind of variables that went into it with, how the overall setup was feeling and what some of the challenges were, because I went on board with you a couple of times. It looked like you were really fighting at points.
Yeah, so obviously with it being the Roval, you kind of have to balance the setup to where it can run on both high banks and road course areas. There's really no good section for the setup. You kind of have to take your happy medium between the two so that it can work everywhere. So that really does, it just makes a lot of the transitions really hard, and make it tight enough to run faster on the oval. You got to be really loose in the infield. So it's just carrying as much speed as you can and saving it as best you can. Feel like most of the race was pretty much a four-wheel drift through the entire infield, which was fun, but not great tires.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily how you would have envisioned it, given the overall mismatch that we just outlined there a moment ago. But from your perspective, like, what was the biggest thing? I know you've mentioned some of the drifting. What was sort of the biggest thing you had to keep in mind to maintain as much car control as you could over the course of the evening?
You just had to be as precise as you possibly could be. There's certain spots on the track where it dips a little bit more, and you can kind of tighten the car up just that little bit more so you're not sliding it as much. And really just be patient and watch the cars in front of you slide it around and try to keep a little bit better tire on it, and just be able to use that later in the run to try and get by them, because all the cars are so evenly matched.
Yeah, and obviously now that you've got everything locked up, you can breathe a little bit, because regardless of what happens next week, you're fighting for that championship, and you're not having to worry about like getting that advantage the way you have over the course of this season. So how nice will it be for you next week to just kind of be able to breathe a little bit, knowing that your sights are ultimately set on Phoenix 2 weeks from now?
Definitely, it's going to be great. I think really have to decide this week if I want to start focusing on Phoenix or put some more work into Vegas, or just kind of decide what I want to do there. I think getting as much practice time at Phoenix as I can might be a good benefit with getting this first win.
And I mean, for pardon the pun, you've really put yourself in the driver's seat for this one. And yeah, it's been fantastic to see how this is developed and how this level of dominance has just continued. So goes without saying, a well-earned run into the championship 4. Well done on clinching that spot officially here tonight. And yeah, whether or not you decide to kind of chill or you decide to give it all for Vegas next week, we'll see you soon enough and see how you're able to fare over these next couple of weeks.
Thanks, Jordy. Looking forward to it.
You got it, brother.
Yeah, thanks very much.
So yes,
there.
back to Regan.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks very much, Jordy. Jordan, who gets the thanks for being able to come on out and get the job done?
Just appreciate the sponsors and all you guys putting it on. And my sister has been here doing some crew chiefing tonight, so was able to get that done. Just been a good season. Looking forward to the next couple races and seeing what we do going forward.
And I suppose I'll add in maybe one more little thing in there too. Obviously, you're in to the Championship 4, but knowing the situations that your fellow competitors still in the round of 8 are in now, I can only imagine you're also thinking that what you're going to be surrounded by at Las Vegas next Monday is certainly going to be wild.
Yeah, with the winning you're in, it's definitely probably puts a pretty big target on my bumper if I'm leading and they need that spot. So just try to keep it out front and manage what happens.
I was going to ask, are you going to make you're going to make it tough for them? You're going to make them fight for it, right?
Yeah, the goal is always to go win as many races as you can. Might be able to be a little bit more respectful and not put them in any bad situations, but I definitely want to go and try to win as many races as we can.
100%, and that should be, of course, the goal each and every week. Again, that was the 00 Jordan Kalinian out of Salisbury, North Carolina. Win number 10 on the year, career win number 18, number 8 on a road/street course, and his 4th in a row this season. Automatically into the Championship 4 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. Jordan, congratulations. It'll either be after next Monday night, Las Vegas, or perhaps maybe the next time we'll be chatting with you will be when you crown yourself an Earl Ross Cup champion at Phoenix Raceway in 2 Mondays. So whenever it may be, best of luck in your chase for the Earl Ross Cup if we're not talking again until Phoenix.
Thank you, Regan. Look forward to the opportunity to race for it.
100%. Thanks a lot. And so there was the post-race winner interview with the 00 of Jordan Kalinian, again picking up the win tonight. Didn't dominate from start to finish. He had his challenges and even a couple of weird moments himself, which a lot of the field experienced here tonight at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. So yeah, we're now 19 races down and 2 more to go for Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series and iRacing. Hard to believe how much time has flown by. Just 2 Mondays remaining. And of course, 1 race left in the round of 8 to decide who the 4 drivers will be for our winner-takes-all Black Fly Championship race at Phoenix Raceway on September 22nd. Waiting for Jordy to get back in. Yeah, there he is to get the final discussions in before we wrap up tonight's live production of E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series action on iRacing. But Jordan Kalinian, unstoppable there in the 3rd and final stage of tonight's Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 130. He's automatically locked in. But now it all comes down to 1 race to then decide the 1 race where 4 drivers will battle it out to get their name carved on the prestigious Earl Ross Cup, and it's all going to go down next Monday night with the Pizza Main 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's Viva Las Vegas on Monday, September 15th, to decide who will be going to that championship finale. How excited are you for this? I said the word hellfire earlier. I think there are many ways you could possibly describe the situation that everybody besides Jordan Kalinian is going to be feeling, and the situation they're going to be going into next Monday night. This could be possibly the wildest elimination race that we have seen since the beginning of the network in 2020.
Yeah, 7 drivers fighting for 3 spots, 3 former champions in that mix. Are you kidding me? Like, there's, if we've been talking about guys not giving each other a whole lot of space before while still racing cleanly, I cannot possibly imagine what next week is going to be like, especially knowing the depth of field of the remaining playoff drivers who are looking for those 3 spots, knowing just how tight it is going into that particular race. If you happen to take a look at what the standings look like, they're actually even tighter than I thought. So yeah, we're looking at, I would say, some certified madness here next week. And I know you've been trying to get Monday Madness kind of going here a little bit. I think next week is going to be a prime example. And I don't think Vegas is getting any updates with the season 4 update, right? So
don't think so.
Yeah, it'll be, but still, it's a layout where, we could see some chaos with these next gen or Gen 7 cars in this particular situation. So yeah, we got a lot to look forward to.
Which, by the way, that spreadsheet I'm seeing there, is that accurate and safe to show?
I would show the Sim Racer Hub link because that is up to date for Corbin.
Okay, let's go and take the look, which, Corbin also gave us the update. Vegas has already been updated. It looks significantly different and drives different than the last time we were there. So, and yeah, he's saying Vegas is going to be nuts on top of that. So we've been already going on about that whole deal. So just I'm trying to look at your spreadsheet and trying to look at what Sim Racer Hub says.
It's official.
I'm trying to see if it is the same. Then I think it's probably safe
not.
Okay, you know what? As soon as you said that, I looked at one number, and yes, you are correct.
I'm correct in being incorrect.
So
somehow I think I flipped 2 points for 2 points in Hanneman's direction that should have been in McCauley's direction. Everything else I think is right, but those 2 not so much.
Okay, so I will pull
go off Sim Racer Hub. Yeah,
I'll pull it up. There we go. So you can maybe get a bit of a look here if you. What's the term when you half close your eyes? Squint.
Squint?
Yeah, you may want to squint your eyes at the screen for these potential numbers, but Jordy, you might as well explain it too. What does it look like in your eyes? What are these drivers going to be looking forward to coming up?
Chaos, first off. So Hanneman and McCauley, they're tied for 3rd, but that's effectively a bubble spot. So as you see it, there's 4 points between the Hanneman-McCauley tie and Justin Belmonte, who's outside. So -4 there. Scott Bailey's 12 points back, season 4 champion, first in the iRacing era. So he's never missed a championship 4 in his 3 seasons of competing here. So he's got a lot to drive for. And then you saw Tomlinson and another former champion in Ty Higginbotham. They both had pretty rough nights. So they're going to have to do a lot of work it is effectively a must win for them. Tomlinson, 24 away from the bubble right now, and Higginbotham at -27. So yeah, I would say must win for those 2. Even Scott Bailey to an extent, 12 points. That is a lot to try and pick up over the course of one race, especially knowing that, everyone else around him is likely going to be gaining points at the same time. So effectively, I would say a must win for those guys. Belmonte, he might be able to race his way in, but that would require something happening to either Hanneman or McCauley behind him. So out of that group, like Thronberg, I would suggest relatively safe where he is, but nothing is guaranteed in this league if we've learned anything. I'm sure I'd have CD Mangrum in my ear telling me nothing is safe after how the round of 10 went.
100%. So yeah, looking at this bubble right here, you got, I'm counting 2 second-year drivers, 2 rookies. For one of those second-year drivers, it's a back-to-back regular season champion, and of course the only driver thus far with double-digit wins on the year, and he's going to be the only one, quite frankly. You got reigning series champion on now a 19-race winless streak. You got a Justin Belmonte, who was the bubble buster back at Darlington before the playoffs. You got 2 other former series champions from season 3 and season 4. It just speaks to the competition, the parity that we began all season, who was left of that group for this one final sprint to the championship finale. Again, 7 drivers fighting for 3 spots at once again, the Pizza Main 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway on Monday, September 15th, next Monday night. Live coverage on our YouTube channel, hopefully next Monday compared to what we dealt with tonight. Live coverage beginning just past 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic, live on the E-Motorsports Network YouTube channel as you're watching right now. Again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a notification when we do go live for round number 20 for Season 6 of the E-Motorsports Network NASCAR Series and iRacing, and race number 2 for the round of 8 of the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. We've seen many instant classics at the Viva Las Vegas intermediate track since the very beginning of the network. That track has, I believe, before crowned a champion. It's also been a penultimate playoff race. It has played a significant factor in how our championships have come together in our history since we first began back in 2020. I have no doubt this has all the makings to possibly the best of them all.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that season 2 championship fondly, and yeah, Vegas has always had a special place within the E-Motorsports Network, seemingly regardless of the era. And given the strength of field, which I know we talked about it quite a bit at the start of the season, but I think it's more evident now, given our 8 drivers who are still in this. We got another special one on our hands, especially considering we're going to have our final 4 locked down. So do not miss it.
100%. You will not want to miss what's about to go down next Monday night in the Pizza Main 200 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Next Monday night, September 15th. Of course, that will be next Monday, but for us tonight, obviously, that was round number 19 on the year, and the first race for the round of 8, the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, 1:30 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, our first time on the Roval layout since 2021, and it's the 00 Jordan Kalinian joining Scott Bailey in the history books as the next winner at the Charlotte Roval. Again, win number 10 on the year, career win number 18, his 8th on a road/street course, and 4th on the year in that category as well. 2 wins away all time from Corbin McCauley, 18 versus 20. And of course, the first and so far only driver locked into the championship 4 for the Black Fly Championship race at Phoenix Raceway in 2 weeks' time. 7 drivers, 3 spots. It's about to go down next Monday night. But until then, of course, on behalf of all of us involved within the network, from, of course, Jordy Carraher, been here since the very beginning on my side, and then the competition committee, sponsors, drivers, partners, everyone involved making this happen most Monday nights. My name is Regan McCauley. Thank you very much for tuning in to tonight's live production of the E-Motorsports Network on iRacing. We'll catch you back at it next Monday night to decide our Championship 4 for the 6th annual Earl Ross Cup Playoffs. Until next Monday night, that was another edition of E-Motorsports Network Monday Madness, and there's plenty more of that coming next Monday night and within the next 2 weeks.